Hello everyone, welcome to demo on data governance using Emergence Data Intelligence Suite. So in this demo, I'll take you through use cases where uh, let's say if we have a raw data, then how do we enrich it with business context so that the definition of the tables and the fields is in alignment with the business. So we'll have an agent for that. And then how do we ensure that um, the data conforms to the regulatory requirements like GDPR, HIPAA, and so on, and classifies each of the different data fields accordingly. So to go through this demo, we'll start with ingesting the data. I'll delete the previous set of tables. So on the left, this is the database tables view. Here is the main screen, and on the right we have the execution updates, the logs that whenever anything gets executed it will appear over here. So we'll upload the data, and I'll choose healthcare data. For this demo. So there are 5 CSV files which we are uploading. This is the patient encounters, medications, the patient details, who are the providers, and the results of the test. So if we are fine with this view, we can upload this data, which then takes it to the database. So we can see all these tables now are in the corresponding database. Now we can go to, if we are okay with this, we can go to the next screen, which takes us to the data governance page. So when clicking any of the table, it first provides a preview of the data as well as stats for each of the table. So in this case, these are the stats for the patients table. We have 50 row count, column count, size of the data, as well as column level statistics, data type, min, max length, distinct count, and so on. Now we want to enrich this data with definitions which can be contextualized to a business. So what we'll do is, for each of this data, starting with this table, we will generate description for this table. So as you can see, the metadata enrichment agent is in progress, which is taking in this patient column information along with certain additional schema, and then generating the business description or the definition of it. So this is now the agent has generated the description. What we can see is, to start with, it has table description, what this table is about. And then it has generated a technical description for each of the columns in this table, followed by the corresponding business aligned description of these fields. It also then generates the business rules which might be applicable to this particular field. Now, in the workflow, this is the draft status. So typically you will have a workflow where there is a data engineer who comes up with these draft definitions, which can be edited manually and saved in draft status, which then is sent over for approval by a data steward or a data owner. So we'll generate descriptions for all the tables. We can also generate this description by uploading a business context document which has some information about these fields as a reference. So if we upload this, then what this agent does is it uses that document as a reference then to come up with the respective descriptions. So as you can see now, it is generating the description for providers table, followed by results table, and so on. So as you can see, it has completed generating the metadata for all the 5 tables which are there in this database. We can click and check if their descriptions are fine, or the user, in this case the data engineer, can edit it as needed. Now moving on to the field classification or tagging part. So this particular agent will take the previously enriched metadata along with the schema information about these tables, and then generate tags for the corresponding table. Now tags can be PII confidential, right? Whether a particular field is in accordance with the regulatory requirements, whichever is applicable for that data set or not, and so on. So it has generated these set of tags. What again we can do is, these are again editable tags, so manually this can be edited. Now what we can do is we can add a file. In this case, this is the tagging file, which has some details, which is saying that regulatory compliance, because this is a healthcare data. We are mostly looking at HIPAA, right, along with PHI, PII information, and then additional set of the classes, right, for tagging has been provided. So these are some guidelines, right, for providing for creating tags. So let us generate tags for all the tables using these. So it has completed generating tags for all the table. As you can see now, it is only using HIPAA as the regulatory compliance. It has generated tags based on the info that we had kind of provided as part of the text file. It has generated these tags for all the tables. Now moving on, uh, this is the part which is interacting with data, asking questions about the data. So typically whenever a data set is provided, what is that data about? uh, Asking questions about some of the field and their definitions, business context, as well as which are the fields or the columns that contain PII data. So these are the kind of questions that many users, data engineers, data analysts, right, business users would like to ask and get clarity on. So for an example, right, we ask which all columns contain PII data. So what it does is it basically uses the earlier created tags uh, data and then takes out from each of these tables, patients, providers, results, which are the field which has the PII data. So it uses previously generated a business context as well as the tagging, the data classifications, and then comes up with these answers. So we can ask multiple questions. This is a multi-turn chat, and it will look at the data and then provide the corresponding answers. So that completes the data governance demo. Thank you.